questions. So with that, I'm very excited to get into it. Let's take a look at our first thing about creation and creator. Now, like what I said, I'm condensing a lot of stuff into not a lot of time, so please lock in and try to follow along. There is something known as the Kalam cosmological argument. And those are really big words, and you don't need to remember those words, but when I try to break this down, it might be kind of confusing. But check this out up here. We see nothing can't do anything. If there's nothing, that nothing can't do anything, right? Because it's nothing. It doesn't exist. If something doesn't exist, what can it do? A whole bunch of nothing, because it doesn't exist. The universe began as nothing. Do you guys know that the universe had a beginning? Do you guys know that? Oh gosh. The universe had a beginning. And because the universe had a beginning, it went from nothing to something, the universe can't start itself. And so the Kalam cosmological argument says that something outside of the universe had to start the universe. Well, that's really weird. If the universe started as nothing and then came to be something, well, it can't start itself if it doesn't exist yet. And so this clever argument says that if the universe started as nothing and then went to something, something outside of the universe had to start it. And that's a really crazy, crazy thing to say. On our next slide, we see the actual argument of the Kalam cosmological argument, which says everything that begins has a cause outside of itself to make it begin. The universe had a beginning. And so therefore, the universe had to have something outside of itself to cause it to exist. And we as Christians understand that to be God. And what you get when you look at this argument is something that looks a lot like God. Our first thing is God obvious? Well, we see that the universe itself has to have something outside of it to start the universe off. So the first question I want to equip you guys with is, what started the universe? And as a side note, if you're thinking that it's the Big Bang, I think you're confusing what I'm saying. In the Big Bang, the universe still existed in a tiny, tiny little point, like the little point of a pen. So in the Big Bang, all the matter was still there in a very fine point, and then it exploded to what we see now. But the question is not asking, oh, well, how did it go from small to big? What the question is asking is, how did nothing turn into something? Because the Big Bang doesn't explain how nothing turned into something. That's the first question. What started the universe? Our second question is, our second thing is that we're going to look at some evidence against God. And what this is known as, what I'm going to talk about, is called weak and strong scientism. And again, lots of you guys don't need to know what these words mean, but if you want to look into them, these are what the words are. It's called weak and strong scientism. And what weak and strong scientism is it says that science is the only legitimate